So I've been studying chemistry for most of the summer, and I finally got stoichiometry pretty good and, understand some basic concepts, so I figured it's time to cook. So today we're going to cook some baking soda into some sodium carbonate and water and carbon dioxide. And we did the stoichiometry, so we'll take a look at that right now, and then we'll get to cooking. Yeah. Okay, so here's the stoichiometry of it. We have sodium bicarbonate being heated and decomposed into sodium carbonate and H2O and CO2, so water and carbon dioxide. First thing I do is I balance the equation so we have the same number of elements on each side. To do that, I just added a coefficient of 2 in front of the NaCHO3. And then I was ready to move on to the stoichiometry. So we're trying to see how much the baking soda will yield of sodium carbonate. We do the molar mass conversion, we do the ratios, mole ratios, and then convert back to grams of sodium carbonate. 286.5 gram yield of sodium carbonate in theory. Then we do the same thing for H2O. We get 48.64 grams H2O, and the same for CO2, 118.9 grams. And I'm thinking it's possible that the water will still be trapped in the sodium carbonate, so my yield should be anywhere between 286 and 335 grams. Okay, so as you saw from the stoichiometry, our hypothesis is that we should get 286 to 335 grams of sodium carbonate from whipping up a pound of Bako. And I've also heard turmeric is a good pH indicator. So we'll use that to verify that we've actually created sodium carbonate, because it should be more basic than the sodium bicarbonate that we start with. First, we'll weigh out the baking soda. Perfect. We'll put it on the stove, start heating. I put it on medium-high. If it turns to sodium carbonate won't break down till it's like 900 degrees Fahrenheit, and this stove can't do that. So even with the burner on high, we should be fine. At first it was real clumpy, but after about 3 or 5 minutes, we start to get some CO2 bubbling through. Look at it go. And as you can see, it starts to look really liquidy. My theory is that this is sort of a fluidized bed. I don't know if you've seen that Action Lab or Mark Rober video, whatever, but it's a really cool effect that happens when you have lots of gas coming through a fine powder. Very cool. Still got a good bit of bubbling action. So no more bubbles. That means this is done. Alright, moment of truth. We're looking for under 330 grams. 279. And our theoretical would have been 286. So we are 6 grams short, but also a lot of it ended up all over the kitchen and in the air, as you can see. So I'd say, yeah, that was a pretty perfect yield. We got about exactly 286 grams. How about that? And I've heard that turmeric is a good pH indicator. So let's see. A pH indicator is something that changes a certain color to indicate the pH. As you can see here, turmeric will turn, I'm pretty colorblind, but I think it's brown, vermilion, when it's a base. So a stronger base should give us a darker brown. I mixed a gram of sodium bicarbonate in 9 milliliters of water, and I mixed a gram of sodium carbonate in 9 milliliters of water. That way we have a 10% solution of each. Here I'm just wetting the paper and rubbing the turmeric into it. We'll start with the baking soda. Now this should give a lighter brown than the sodium carbonate will, because it's a weaker base than the sodium carbonate. Alright, so there we see the markings from the baking soda, and now markings from the sodium carbonate. Oh wow, that is darker immediately. Look at that. So there's proof that the sodium, there's proof that the baking soda became sodium carbonate. Baking soda, sodium carbonate.